First story. You do need to be physically present when your daughter is swimming in a pool. A very good friend of mine recently got on a plane with her three boys, 8, 9 and 10, by herself to visit with grandma for a month over summer vacation. I was on transport duty because driving to and from the airport is a young man's game, and also I love spending time with my homies. There was an accidentally on purpose scheduling issue. Namely, my friend wanted a day in a hotel to recuperate from the flight with her three boys before her mom starts driving her insane. Husband is coming up in a few weeks because he just started a new job and can't just be like back in a month. So I snatched all four people and luggage from the airport and gave them a lift to the hotel. All three boys are bouncing off the walls and my friend just needs a nap. So hotel pool time. She is posted up under an umbrella and is dead to the world. I'm in the pool with the boys and we started off playing Marco Polo and then we had to get creative once other folks were in the pool as well. Eventually we settled on a game called Not Done Yet. Basically I'm standing on one side of the steps out of the pool and when the boys feel like they try and leave the pool, I decide if they are done or not yet using a complicated examination process that amounts to picking the kid up, giving them a bit of a shake, faking a big sniff, saying not done yet and yeet them back into the pool. Obviously if someone's waterlogged or actually wants out, I won't stop them. But typically there is giggling and a bit of a cue for inspection so the game continues. I get a workout and they get tired out, everyone wins. Then a new player enters the playing field in the form of a very sweet looking girl, approximately 6 years old, wearing water wings. She asks if she can play too, and I say of course she can, but she needs to ask whoever is watching her first, so I know it's okay with everyone. She says okay and exits the pool. I'm keeping an eye on where she's going so I can smile and give the I'm not a creep wave to whoever's minding the kid. Only she doesn't run to one of the adults on the lounge chairs. She runs back into the hotel dripping wet. She disappears inside and comes back down about 5 minutes later and says, "Mommy says it's okay." Only she's not the type of kid who lies without batting an eye and is obviously fibbing. I ask if she really did and the little girl says, well, mommy was busy so I think it's okay. It's at this point that the proverbial record scratches and my inner monologue says, what? I summon the oldest of the boys from the water porn shenanigans and ask him to go wake up his mom so she can keep an eye on things for a minute. I need to go take care of something. While he's bearding the dragon in her den, I crouch down and tell the little girl, we need to go inside and find an adult because it is not okay that you're in a pool all by yourself, okay? You didn't do anything wrong, but you've got some growing to do before you can be in the pool all by yourself, okay? At this point, the oldest homie has awoken the mom and she's now looking at me with a what the hell look on her face. I mouth later at her and then take the little girl's hand and bring her to the concierge desk of the hotel. I explain the situation with the little girl to the concierge, whose face goes from confusion to pain before giving the girl a smile and thanking me for bringing this to his attention. Concierge guy takes responsibility for the girl, and I go back out to the pool to explain what had happened to my friend. She was livid on the little girl's behalf, but mostly just wanted to resume her nap. Conveniently, at that time, that middle homie had gotten out of the pool and was making faces at us while we were talking. I told my friend to get some sleep and I'll watch the boys. Then the middle homie got spear tackled back into the water because actions have consequences. Maybe 20 minutes to half an hour later, once I was starting to run out of steam, I sensed a disturbance in the force. A rather irate woman wearing a blouse that was inside out was dragging the little girl from before out to the pool area and demanding to know who told her she couldn't swim. The little girl, who was now silent with tears on her cheeks, and a pathetically deflated water wing pointed at me. I was instructed to get out of the pool and explain myself. Why on earth was it so hard to watch an extra child while she got some adult time to herself? Why did I insist on ruining her first chance to get away from it all in months? Her little girl is an angel and is no trouble to watch. Blah blah blah. I explained that it wasn't a good idea to leave a little one in a pool with no adult supervision, pointing to a number of signs about no lifeguard on duty, that all children must be accompanied by an adult, etc., etc. Inside out, the lady is getting steadily more belligerent, explaining like I'm slow that her daughter knows how to swim and was wearing floaties and would have been just fine. She's getting more and more in my face, trying to act like I'm just the worst for ruining everything. And then player 3 enters a fight. It is my friend, and she's fresh out of fluffs to give. She starts reading Inside Out Lady the right act, demanding to know how she could be so stupid and irresponsible and how dare she try and act like I'm the bad guy here. Inside Out the lady opens her mouth to reply and just gets steamrolled. Just look at your daughter. See what you've done? Appear to finally get through to the woman because she looks down at her daughter, then back up to my friend. There is a flicker of shame on her face. And then it is all rage. And then she swung. I'm not ashamed to admit that stepping between those two without backup seemed like a poor life choice. I stopped the boys before they could get caught in the crossfire, told them to take a step back, and when several hotel employees came out to break up the fight, I stepped in. I grabbed my friend and pulled her back, while two guys from the hotel grabbed the other woman. The combatants are separated and the police are called. Myself and my friend are back at her lounge chair with a large first aid kit the hotel staff gave us while the boys hover and make sure mom's okay. She's sporting a magnificent china from that first punch and a couple other scraps and bruises, but mostly seems livid that she got cold clocked like that. Police arrive and get the story from everyone even tangentially involved. We wind up being asked to provide contact information to the police. My friend declines a check over by an EMT, saying she's fine, just sore. The story Inside Out Lady provided didn't match up at all with what the hotel cameras showed. She got some shiny bracelets put on her before getting shoved in the back of a squad car. My friend said she would be delighted to press charges for assault and was told the police would be in touch. Once the police were satisfied, it was definitely time to retreat to the hotel room. I got dressed and left for the evening after making sure everybody was okay, and on the way out I asked one of the front desk folks what happened with the woman and her daughter. The woman was arrested and the girl's father came to get her. They couldn't give me any more information than that. Hope the little girl is okay. Next story. Won't let me go to the toilet? I'll throw up on your stuff. At the time of this story, a 15-year-old male threw up on my teacher intentionally. Today, I was talking about this story to a friend, a 25-year-old female, who ended up judging me for it. So let me give the story. When I was 15 in my year 10 chemistry class, I was feeling extremely sick, and had been all day. According to friends that were there, I was pretty visibly sick as well. About midway through the lesson, I knew I was gonna vomit, and so I asked my teacher, female mid-40s, if I can go to the toilet because I'm going to throw up. I think it is worth noting that there were no policies in my school preventing this. She looked at me dead in the eyes and told me no, that I should wait until the end of lesson. Again, I insisted that she should let me go, but she told me that I could wait. Now, normally I would just go to the toilet anyway and ignore her, but due to me being sick and not liking this teacher anyway, I walked up to her desk, disguising it as just going to insist again, and now just before she's about to tell me to sit down, I stop holding it in and projectile vomit all over her desk. Her computer was fine, but her books, pencil case, cup of coffee were all ruined and she had to throw them away. Not saying that was too expensive. Of course, she screams, runs away from the desk, and goes to get someone to clean it up, and I ended up going home and sleeping for the rest of the day. My dad picked me up when I called him, and she hated me after this, and still clearly thinks I did it on purpose, which I did, to be fair. In all honesty, I could have just ran to the toilet, but I wanted to teach her a lesson. I wouldn't do the same thing now, but I don't regret that decision whatsoever. I still think back on it as a funny story. I don't think she ever did or will do that again. Next story, entitled Jerk Fakes Being Blind. I, 55, male, formerly worked in a small-town hardware store where red shirts are the staff attire and is known as the helpful place. We had a crazy male customer who loved to show up for pool water testing 5 minutes prior to closing. He never bought pool supplies because he had a pool company service his pool. Yes, he wanted to double-check them on our time and dime. He also would insist on recording conversations, which most of us would refuse. The strangest part was he claimed to be legally blind, yet he drove himself everywhere. A co-worker put him in his place one day while assisting the PITA. Co-worker took the guy to what he wanted and the guy asked, "How much is this?" Co-worker doubled the price and called the blind man's bluff, telling him the inflated price. "What? It says this price on the tag on the shelf," he said in outrage. I thought you were blind," replied my friend with a small smirk. Now on to the out of work here portion of the story. He comes for his unnecessary pool water testing as we are preparing to close. A co-worker stays 10 minutes late to complete the test while the rest of us leave. I stop at a Family Dollar store a block away for some quick shopping. Staff here also wear red shirts, by the way. I'm in line at the checkout near the door when in comes our blind customer. He gives a typical throat-clearing pay attention to me noise. It is a southern town where we are taught to be polite, so I look over at him to see what he needs. I immediately recognize him and with the greatest pleasure tell him, "I don't work here. Go find another red shirt." Not a big payoff in revenge, but we take what we can. Next story, I love hotel concierges. I just bore witness to the most malicious petty act and I have to share it. So a little backstory. I have been on a 1,500 kilometers walk across Canada and today, I completed it. I made it to my destination Niagara Falls. I figured I would be making it here today, so last week, as I was passing through Toronto, I booked a room at a fancy hotel at the falls. I arrived at the hotel to check in several hours ago, and unfortunately the hotel had overbooked its graduation weekend for the high schoolers. I always try to be polite in crabby situations. People are usually willing to go the extra mile for you if you are not an absolute jerk. The concierge was kind enough to ask me to take a seat so they could call around to find me a room for the night. At the service desk there are several concierge stations, and when I was trying to check in, I was only focused on myself. But as I was waiting, my love of drama got the better of me, and I started listening to the exchange that was going on with another of the concierges, an exchange that was getting heated. A basic gist of the conversation, a mother was trying to argue the price of the sweet down she had booked for her kids after graduation party. Well, she was being a witch about it. If you book a suite, you can expect to pay $500+ for it. Hell, even more during grad weekend. The fouliness coming out of this witch's mouth at a person doing her job was just disgusting. I also need to add both of the concierges were Chinese, and the one dealing with the witch at this point was almost in tears. She leans over to the woman who had been serving me and said in Cantonese, "I cannot deal with this.
Let's call the manager.
Now a little about me you need to know is I can speak some Cantonese, not perfect, but I can hold a basic conversation. I swear I know all the swearing. The witch had been getting more and more frustrated as she's not getting a discount and this is where she screwed up. She crossed her arms and said,
Well, it is too much if you don't bring the price down. Just cancel my booking, I'll go somewhere better.
I had gotten up from my seat. I went to speak with the concierge dealing with my stuff and said in Cantonese, "If you want, I can grab her by the neck and throw her out." I got a little laugh out of her. She said to me, "Oh, it's fine. I'm going to see about getting you a room right now." I called the manager and after a brief conversation they called me up to the desk and they found a room for me. So yeah, at no extra charge they found an available suite. And after booking into my upgraded room, heading towards the elevator, I caught the end of the conversation with that witch. So the manager used the witch's words against her. "If you don't come down on the price, I'm canceling my booking." And they did just that. They canceled the booking, and now I'm typing this in my nice posh room, getting ready to head down to the casino and lose some money. I love the concierge. By the way, wish me luck. I have $200 burning a hole on my pocket.